Hey guys, what's up? It's Roll from Courtwear here. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Oscar Garza. He's got a pretty unique journey when it comes to athletic trainer. So let's take it all the way back, and Oscar, go ahead and tell us a little bit about where it started and the responsibilities and this and that.
Right. Well, I'm a high school graduate of Rio Grande City High School, class of 2012. At the time, I was an athlete, always getting hurt and stuff like that. Always went to go see my athletic trainer, who is currently still at Rio Grande City High School, Mr. James McGuire. And when I graduated, I just knew I wanted to be around athletics. Athletic training was still coming up. It wasn't a big profession like it is now, where if someone runs onto the field, oh, there goes the athletic trainer. A lot of people back then just thought we taped ankles and that was the end of it, but we clearly do a lot more. As an athletic trainer, we're multi-skilled healthcare professionals that were highly qualified to give service, whether it's from first aid, emergency response, if someone were to drop on the floor and we had to administer an AED, all the way to when an athlete gets hurt and we're bringing them back through that rehab process and treatment process to get them back onto the field or court. So when I went to school, I went to the University of Texas at Austin, got my Bachelor's of Science in Athletic Training in 2016, where I learned more about the profession, really grew as an athletic training student, and decided this is what I wanted to do. After that, I wanted to go to graduate school just to get more experience under my belt, start getting ready to go into the profession, on top of being able to network, because I still currently have aspirations to be an athletic trainer in the NBA. Basketball has always been a passion of mine, always been a sport that I love, so that's why we're here with Courtwear. They love basketball and baseball, I love basketball, and so that's why I'm here. And that's what got me to be an athletic trainer.
Awesome. Now, you talked a little bit about the responsibilities, but I feel like, athletic trainers are the ones that are in the backstage, don't really see the spotlight. But one of the things that interests me so much is, and I'll say you as an example, your school, probably roughly an hour and a half from here, and when you all came to the playoff game here, you traveled all the way over here with the team and stuff, so people don't realize how important athletic trainers are. They're like the backbone to the team. So what I want to kind of show the people is take us from your morning all the way to when you clock out. How does the day of an athletic trainer look like?
Right. Just like Roel was saying, as an athletic trainer, I like to tell people, even tell my students who are student trainers at the high school, it's a very selfless job. It's not about us. I grew up, went through school. It's about the team and what can we do to make the team successful. And so hours vary really, because we get the random practice. Oh, we're going to practice at this morning when it was scheduled to be earlier or later. During typical football season at the high school level, we have early morning practices. We start at 7 a.m. That means we got to be there before 6 a.m. to get our pre-practice treatment with some of our guys struggling with day-to-day injuries and stuff like that. So typically we're the first ones in, and we're usually the last ones out, because then we'll have practice in the afternoon at the high school level. Now, when it came to the college level, obviously at the University of Texas, being D1, it's a lot of hours, very time commitment. You learn a lot more how to manage your time, because you're there for long periods of hours, there for the team, and how to, do whatever you can to make them successful, from, setting up water, setting up Gatorade, getting the athletes a pre-stretch in, a warm-up, stuff like that. And so our hours really vary. It's not the simple 40 hours a week. Just whatever we get thrown at our way, we typically just kind of work with it.
Yeah. And he's not even talking about the variables. Imagine, they see about 5 to 10 injured athletes a day, so that's when it really gets hectic.
Yeah.
But earlier you mentioned about NBA trainer aspirations. I know last time we talked, you talked about, in fact, I think you even repped some of our Courtwear socks to what would you say it was, a training seminar?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Talk a little bit about that.
Right. Well, aside from being an athletic trainer, I'm a certified strength and conditioning coach through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. Basically, it's the gold standard when it comes to strength and conditioning. all the way from weightlifting, some nutrition in there, conditioning, and everything wrapped up in between. And so since I have aspirations to make it into the NBA, I figured, well, how can I get more knowledgeable, not just so much of just adding credentials and letters to my name, but how can I be more knowledgeable about the sport of basketball? So ever since then, working with the basketball team at UT, I've been doing whatever I can to get myself in through the door. And so I've been to a couple of strength seminars. Like last year, I went to Chicago to an NBA strength coaches clinic just to learn the kind of tools and gadgets that they use in the weight room to test their athletes, what work, what doesn't work, because you have basketball athletes that are over 6'5", all, most common injuries and stuff, and, just like things change, you start figuring out what works and what doesn't. And so a lot of strength coaches, they have their own, little twist on it to make it their own, but everything's kind of like a broad spectrum, and you get to play with it and you adjust it to your athletes and to your team goals and stuff like that. And so it was great being able to hear all these strength coaches in the NBA talk about, the little bumps along the road that they face in a season when it comes to weightlifting, conditioning, on top of the whole what we talk about, load management and a long basketball season.
Yeah, crazy stuff, because a lot of people think that it's just like, oh, do this to get strong, and that's universal, which isn't the case. I think it was Kobe Bryant that as soon as he retired from basketball, he put on a lot of muscle, and he said like, well, I couldn't do that when I was playing basketball because it wasn't towards the sport. So not everything's universal. So a lot of stuff like that, specific exercise and things like that go into what you need to know to be an athletic trainer. So, Oscar, I guess to kind of wrap things up, what would be like a pro tip that you have? I just thought about specific things, but kind of like a universal thing for any athlete who's, just trying to get better or anything like that.
Yeah, so what I preach to my high school athletes, and I always keep it the same, because when you can teach a kid how to take care of their bodies and really put in their head that they start hearing your own voice in their head, it makes it really easy and they hop onto it. And I like to preach off the same 3 things to every single team I come across, because all these strength coaches and athletic trainers, you really start appreciating the foundation. And it goes into our eating habits, our sleeping habits, and our hydration habits. We all know about being hydrated and ways we can monitor and stuff, but hydration is an everyday thing that never changes. You don't just drink water the day of a game and expect to be hydrated, because you're still going to get cramps and stuff like that, and you need to avoid that. So things from hydration to eating, making sure we get a lot of vegetables and fruits on our plate. That's what I tell kids, especially being down here in the Rio Grande Valley. There's a lot of good, tasty treats out there, and it's okay to have them every now and then. But getting a lot of fruits and vegetables in there, because that's what we lack, and that's how our body's going to really start growing and rebuilding our muscle. And then the important thing is sleep. I was telling you a little bit earlier, sleep is the supplement that you can get for free without having to go to a store. You just got to develop good sleep habits to make sure you're getting your 8-9 hours of sleep, because research and science says if you don't get your 8-7 hours of sleep, your body's not going to recover from the workout. You're going to start getting into the overtraining process where you start getting hurt, getting overuse injuries. And so really sleep is where you get your most recovery in a day. And so just as long as you focus on those 3 things, the eating, the hydrating, and the sleeping, that should usually do the trick when it comes to recovery and being able to take advantage of your body to be able to perform to the highest level.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I think hydrating, they kind of got down. The eating, you gotta be a little more picky with it, especially growing up. Kids aren't, like you were saying, they just stuff anything random in their mouth, or they don't get sufficient nutrition. And if you're in school, it's as easy as packing a little lunch here or there, so you get 4 to 5 meals instead of your 3 in one day. And then, man, the sleeping, like nowadays people sleep 3 to 4 hours a night. Yeah. So guys, listen to this man, like those 3 things. If you didn't get anything from this video, those 3 little tips, that's everything there. So Oscar, appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem.
I want to give you a little something for your time.
Oh yeah. My guy, Courtwear Racing.
Coming out soon. Anytime you purchase anything on Courtwear, we'll give you a free wristband here. Pretty cool stuff, and love to see people repping.
Yeah,
but of course, Oscar, thanks for the time, man.
Appreciate you, Ro.
Alright, this is Ro signing out with Courtwear. Remember, transcend the club.